Second one. Hello, Tom LeVecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. I am over 300 deep in podcasting. I get very excited about podcasting and certain guests, but this guest has me very, very excited, and his colleague. So first I want to welcome Mike Mandell, who I am calling today the TikTok lawyer. Mike, how you doing today?
Good. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. And his colleague, Sebastian Paredes, who I understand is kind of the man behind the curtain. Sebastian, welcome to the New Theory podcast today. We have you on, Sebastian? We
Yes,
lost
sir.
you on audio. I'm sorry? We have a delay.
Yes,
He's
right
happy
here.
to be there.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
No worries. We're kind of a show, but no worries. Take your time. No, I'm just playing. All right. So we're going to start off with Mike, and then we'll get to Sebastian. So Mike, your background, Michael or Mike, what do you prefer?
Let's go with Mike.
Mike, you're a PI attorney by training, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I actually was doing defense work for about 7.5 years beforehand, defending pharmaceutical companies, plane crashes, anyone that made a product that hurt someone, and wanted to switch over and be on the other side, the more righteous side, I guess to say. And so that's when I started, actually using social media, because beforehand you work for a huge law firm, you can't really use it.
Correct. So when you went over to the other side, the good side, if you will, let's call it the plaintiff side, if it's okay.
That's right.
And you start doing social media. What was the first medium you did, and what were those results?
We started off doing TikTok and Instagram at the same time.
Oh, wow.
The deal with it, hold on one second. I just want to, I keep getting these phone calls, so I don't want it to interrupt us. A lot of what you can do on TikTok can be repurposed on Instagram, right?
Correct.
So the idea going into it was to use those two platforms. With Instagram had already been used by lawyers a lot.
Yeah.
TikTok less so. And so Sebastian and I kind of targeted those two platforms with the idea of giving education to people. But I think neither of us expected to have the growth that we ended up getting. I mean, that's always the goal, but it was never to explode into what it has. But we're both grateful for that.
That's awesome. And Sebastian, I think you and I do similar. I'm a digital marketer by my day job. You seem like a great marketing background and so forth. You got a great client here. You got a great colleague and friend. You started creating some content. When did you know you struck gold? Like, did you always know? And then, wow, I'm not as surprised. Or tell me that moment, that inflection point where you're like, wow, we got something here.
Yeah, so I remember the exact day like it was yesterday, honestly, man. It was when we were posting some videos, and there's one that we posted. I know Mike knows which one it is. It's the legal loophole one that we talked about like a legal drinking age legal loophole. And that one hit about 1 million views in like 45 minutes. It was like an hour. It was incredible. And after that, we knew wow, this, there is some real attention about people wanting to know the law, and I guess getting a bit more of a transparent background about, how the law works and getting more information. So we kind of just doubled down on that, created more content through that. The snowball effect kind of grew, and we just did a lot more.
And Michael, from your perspective, and you're great on camera, you have a good vibe and everything else, very handsome guy, but you're a lawyer, did this come natural to you, or did it need some coaching? Walk us through the content, because the content generation, you guys make it look easy, but you guys do a lot to make it look like it's not a lot, right? Which is a compliment. So how was it for you in front of the camera and rolling this out?
I do think I have a natural energy, but, sometimes you need someone to kind of bring that out, which Sebastian would help with. Sometimes he'd be like, look happier, especially if we're working till 3 or 4 a.m.
Yep.
So that can happen. There's a lot of work that goes into these. I mean, these 15, 30-second videos do not take 15, 30 seconds to make.
That is correct.
Start to finish, probably anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours for each one.
Yep.
And, it's just a lot of brain power that goes into it from, I talk about it a lot with people that when we're thinking of script ideas, it's almost like a music studio. We're bouncing off ideas then we're like, okay, we like this idea, but how do we say it shorter? How do we say it so it's still accurate? Because as a lawyer, I can't say anything that misinterprets the law or misleads people. Everything has to be accurate. But you also can only say so much in 15, 30 seconds. So it's kind of that fine line of making sure you're giving proper information, but you're limited on time. So it does take a lot of effort, even just to come up with the script part.
Well, part of the reason I wanted to reach out was because I was able to get Dr. Miami. He did a lot with Snapchat. I'm not sure if you heard of him. And I actually have an aesthetic, never tell by looking at me, but I have an aesthetic background in marketing. And one of the things for him was a lot of the old fuddy-duddies from their board was kind of giving him crap. And, he was everything compliant. Everything was above board. But, like the old stodgy guard kind of gives you crap. And, and like he was fine and he got through it and he disrupted. You're disrupting in a legal space. Do you get like appropriately, do you get like some pushback? Have the bar called you up and said, hey, like nothing did anything wrong, but you're disrupting. So did you ever get any pushback or anything from the legal community?
Most of the people on TikTok were actually very supportive.
Nice.
There was a small community of lawyers on TikTok. They were all kind of rooting for me.
Nice.
I still got messages from them saying we're rooting for you. Nice. Some of them even, copy some of the, posts that we do in a funny way.
Yeah.
But very supportive of that. And Instagram is probably not as much because it's, bigger. I definitely have had some comments where they're like, well, what you said is not 100% every single thing that can be done. And obviously, especially coming from a lawyer, yes, there's a million different ways to say things and say there's other options or, if you're in a different country, it's different. I don't know, like there's all, you can do that and we can all agree to disagree on that.
Yeah.
But, the whole point of these are just to educate people about the basic rights and not get into the nitty gritty about everything. That's when you hire a lawyer,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
There's been some of that pushback, but all in all, mostly, very supportive from both the people that follow me and the lawyers that have spoken with me.
That's amazing. And Sebastian, I'm guessing that obviously Michael's the expert, the legal expert and so forth, but you probably partner up on the content. And although you guys make dry content very viral, if you will, Sebastian, from your perspective, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep the engine going from a content perspective?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, there's only so much that you can talk about in law. So we've been really trying to focus on expanding into other aspects of things that, relate to law and are under kind of this similar umbrella, whether it be to, how to be a better communicator, how to be a better persuader,
how to negotiator. I like that one.
How to negotiate, how to pick up on body language, psychology hacks to persuade people. I mean, there's a lot of other sub umbrellas that you can, talk about and expand on. I really love to try and preach that, if you're ever running out of ideas and need a little bit of inspiration, always try to remember that, how can I educate someone? How can I inspire someone? And how can I entertain someone? And, if you really try and get your ideas under those three categories, it gives you a little bit more clarity on what direction to go. So that's what me and Mike do a lot. And it allows us to really come up with some really interesting ideas.
That's beautiful. So Michael, our audience is primarily entrepreneurs, small business owners and the like. And I just had a CPA on earlier, had a life insurance person on earlier. Obviously, you're in the legal field. Again, one of my learnings from Dr. Miami was he went very big on Snapchat. He actually lost to Snapchat of the year behind DJ Khaled and Kylie Jenner. And I feel like you're the Dr. Miami of TikTok, which I think is a good compliment. But with him, he actually went back to his colleagues a few years later for some of those stodgy old guys and gals that were getting on him and said, listen, from a promotional perspective, I'm spending less on pay-per-click. I'm spending less, on SEO and that kind of stuff because he's gaining awareness. He's trading time over money. You know that as a lawyer, right? So how has this affected your practice And if so, if positively, were you able to maybe pull away some traditional marketing and replace it with this, or are you still doing this and still doing traditional marketing? What effect does this kind of TikTok stardom, if you will, had an effect on your practice?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely had an effect on my practice.
Yeah.
Anyone considering whether they should use social media to market their business should be doing it. You shouldn't even question.
Correct.
You have nothing to lose except for your time.
Yes.
But you don't have to pay, to post something and film it yourself, and you can kind of just do that, and you should be doing that. It's had an amazing positive impact on my legal practice. It's allowed me to connect with lawyers across the country that I send cases to and work with, well as connect with clients across the country for every type of legal issue. The whole goal that I went into this was to help people. I was sick of representing the other side that wasn't helping, and I wanted to help. And now I have the reach to help everyone in the country in a way that, I could have never done without the power of social media. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm really happy about it. And anyone, thinking about what they should do as far as marketing goes, that's probably your first step, especially if funds are tight or something like that. One of the benefits compared to the traditional marketing ways is that this has allowed me to really connect with people. I mean, a billboard and a pay-per-click thing is there's no emotional connection with someone you're talking to or people wanting to talk to you. I mean, they're basically being pushed out something in their face rather than them coming out to you organically. So that's a huge benefit compared to that type of advertising.
That's amazing. And Sebastian, this is, I think, a little bit more your wheelhouse, where you'll post something, and I think, Mike, you'll appreciate this, Sebastian, as well. I have an 8-month-old daughter. My fiance put her on TikTok. She already has 93,000 followers, and one video got 8 million views. I'll send you the link just for craps and giggles. But and we stayed away from Instagram because we feel like the algorithm is different. So Sebastian, how do you walk us through where you do a great video with Mike, you upload it to TikTok, you upload it to as a reel for Instagram, you obviously get different results, right? But do you take the same strategy for content that you do for TikTok and Instagram and see where it lies, or do you dedicate certain strategies to one platform over the other? Because there are distinctions and the results are much different. Walk us through the strategy of TikTok versus Instagram from your perspective.
So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, looking at the algorithm of these platforms, all these platforms want is for their viewers and users to stay on their platform longer. That is the common denominator between all platforms. So if you can curate your content to focus on those points, whether it be, highlighting watch through rate, making sure that all your viewers are watching your videos as all the way through, preferably increasing your rewatch rate, which is going to allow for people to, rewatch your content multiple times and then share your content, acting as social currency. So really making sure that you're curating your content so that, when people share it, people can be perceived as someone that is, showing you something entertaining, showing you something that you didn't know, showing something that can relate to you. Anytime, you find something on Facebook and you say like, oh my God, I have to send it to this friend because she's dealing with this thing, or we were just talking about that, and you send it, and now you look like the cool person because you sent a very entertaining piece of content. That's what you should be striving for. And that's kind of cookie cutter for any single platform. There's no really like uniqueness to either, this is what's going to work for TikTok, this is what's going to work for Instagram. There's definitely different strategies that you can use to, if you, post something on TikTok because the organic growth is a lot easier there, and you want to convert people onto Instagram, then you can, say, watch me talk about this and in more depth on my Instagram, or go to part 2 for my Instagram. There's different strategies that you can do for there. But to answer your question, it's really important that you just curate your content for, watch through rate and rewatch rate, because that's what's going to help you on any platform.
Love it. Now, Mike, have you been stopped yet for selfies and autographs yet?
Yeah, I have. I was actually on a date one time, and this girl had to take a picture of another girl that came up to me, so that was kind of awkward. Yeah, and funny enough, I was just at Best Buy today too to get some audio equipment for something Sebastian and I are about to shoot later today, and the person recognized me with my mask on. So
wow,
definitely. I don't have too much time to go out in public just because I'm constantly working.
Yeah.
But the few times that I have gone out, people recognize me, but I always tell them that I appreciate their support and keep watching because that's what we're here for,
I love it. We're gonna wrap it up soon, but my question, I guess, first to Mike and then Sebastian. We do a lot of marketing for plastic surgeons and stuff. And we actually, some of their accounts are not like your level, but doing pretty well. And there's a lot of offers coming through. So like now that you build up a platform, and you gave some great education, and you're doing some great stuff, but you also have like your practice. Do you want to maybe monetize a platform as its own entity? Do you want to maybe use that to increase your law practice? I know I'm asking for the secret sauce, but that's what we do. But what's your strategy moving forward now that you struck gold? Like what are some of your strategies moving forward? Then I'll ask Sebastian next.
Yeah. On one hand, I have my law practice, and my strategy there is to continue to expand, to continue to offer people help for any type of legal issue, no matter what state they're in, and have the resources and connections to connect them with lawyers that I work with that I trust, so that they know when they're reaching out to me, a lawyer that they hopefully trust, that they're also going to be working, they'll get their legal issue handled by a lawyer I will work with that I also trust. Because in this field, just like with doctors, as you know, you can't really go on Yelp and see, oh, this is going to be a good lawyer. And especially, most of the stuff when it comes to doctors or lawyers, it's someone told you by word of mouth that this person is good, right? So, a lot of referrals, doctors give referrals to other doctors. If you trust one of them, you can trust that referral most likely. And that's kind of the idea here, as far as my law firm goes, expanding in that sense.
That's excellent. So Sebastian, before we conclude, obviously you guys are doing really well. You're killing it. What do you want to see? What's next? It seems like you might be about the strategy, collaborating with Mike. From a strategic standpoint, what's next? What do you envision for the brand? Oh, we might have lost him. I think we lost him.
Oh, well, I can tell you because I've heard him talk about it before, but it's mostly trying to expand beyond just law, right? So what are lawyers affiliated with, right? Persuasion, as he was saying, arguing, how to control a room, communications, public speaking, things like that. So that's kind of the next realm as far as expanding the brand is giving people more than just legal tips and facts about the law, but instead giving them tips about how to live their life and live it in a more confident or more assertive way.
What's the most famous person that you could mention, reach out to you, even if it's just a hello or love what you're doing? Have you got anybody, celebrities reach out, or anybody notable reach out?
Gosh, I don't think so yet. Nothing too crazy to tell your followers.
Well, I will tell you this though. My kids know who you are.
He's here now.
Oh, there you are. Very handsome guy. We needed you to have you on film earlier to help with the ratings. So I guess my last, I guess my last question for each of you, and I'll go to Sebastian first and Mike, and then we'll conclude, is Sebastian, like you guys struck gold here, right? And you're doing some great things, and you have some great intent behind it. And I know you guys are going to do even greater things with it. What were some of the challenges you overcome when you first started, right? Because people just see, 4.5 million users, good-looking lawyer out there. But we all know that it took 20 years to become an overnight success, right? And what are some of these obstacles you had maybe early on when you started this that you overcame that would help our readers and listeners appreciate your guys' journey a little more?
Yeah, sure. So I know exactly how to talk upon this. When we first started, one of the key points of getting more traction on your profile is, one of the first 12 videos that you post has to get some level of traction. We were shooting for anywhere between, anything above 25,000 views. I think as for your first 12 videos is a good amount of traction to, give TikTok the perception that, hey, this is a profile that just started. It's already got some traction. Let's maybe push it a little bit further And, you know, we tried literally 4 times to actually have that happen. You know, we posted 12 videos, you know, they flopped, and then we would literally delete the account, start again, and just add an underscore to our username.
And then switch it back later. Then switch it back later when it lets it.
Exactly. So we got to the point we were like, had 3 underscores, you know, for a whole month. You know, then we obviously got the original account, but you know, in those cases, it's super important to, you know, it's not a matter having the mentality that it's not a matter of if, but when, and you know, keep on pushing. I always tell everyone, don't focus so much on the views and the comments and all that stuff, and the likes. Like really try to focus more on, you know, going back to what I said, which is, you know, are you educating someone? Are you entertaining someone? Are you inspiring someone? Are you happy with the content and information that you're delivering? And if you are, then continue doing that. Because as soon as you get caught up in the views and the likes, you start identifying yourself with it. You say like, oh, my views are doing bad. I'm bad. And it leads to really, really bad, or it's not good. So I would highly recommend, you know, like I said, starting off with 12 videos in the vault. So you have something that you can post, you know, 3 times a day for 4 days, and just keep pushing. If it doesn't work, delete the account, restart again, and do it until it works. Because if you keep trying, it eventually will happen. It eventually will happen. I mean, TikTok's an amazing platform. It will happen. And it allows you to kind of A/B test and see what works.
Yeah. And, you know, to add to that too, you really want to pay attention to your audience and what they are liking and not liking. You know, if you notice that people are liking certain things, then go with that, continue going with that. Don't sometimes what you think is the best is not really the best.
Yeah.
So you want to pay attention to what people like, what people want, and continue posting in that direction.
The market decides what's right. You don't.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you a question though, because as a digital marketer, as a marketer, sometimes I have this gut and it happens like, bam, I'm right. And then it's obviously the opposite as well, right? I'm a big believer, let the market decide as well. Are you guys at this point pretty lockstep on whatever your launch is popping? Or are you still like, damn, I thought that one was going to do so much better and it didn't? Are you guys lockstep?
100%.
It's definitely a little bit of both. I think we know that certain things are probably going to be good, but some things, and it happens often, we think are going to be like, you know, go straight to the moon, and it just isn't. And it's really it's a testing thing. You know, you just go out there, and as Sebastian said, you just don't give up. You don't let that define you, and you continue to put content out that you believe personally is going to be quality. And that's really what matters at the end of the day, that you believe you're putting out something of worth to the world.
Love it. So last question, Mike. You are going to get a lot more media requests, not just from this, but you're going to get a lot more media requests. You're good on camera. You're a great guy. Give us a little known fact about you that not everybody knows.
Oh man, what am I going to say? Maybe you'd be better at answering that.
you must trust Sebastian.
I don't know what to say. You caught me off guard on this one. Little known fact. I played the saxophone in elementary school. How about that?
All right. We'll save the juicy one for our next interview. Gentlemen, I'm glad we connected. You guys are pros. You have some support from us and our audience. And listen, everybody knows who you are. I'm being serious. I've said, hey, I'm doing the TikTok lawyer guy. And every single person, 100% recall, knew who you were from all different age ranges. But with that being said, how can we find you guys anyway?
At Law by Mike on TikTok, at Law by Mike on Instagram, fairly easy. And then Sebastian?
Yeah, just Sebastian Paredes on Instagram, and on TikTok, I hustle.
Excellent. Put some links below. Thank you so much, gentlemen.